Governor Macquarie has gone. Parts of the colony of New South Wales, especially Sydney, witness buildings still under construction, largely as a legacy of the Major General and the colony's fifth and beloved governor. Who was to replace him? This was a question facing two groups who were most interested. The exclusives on one hand, those with position, power, money and opportunity, would welcome a governor who was committed to the righteousness of the order of man and the classes within society. The emancipists and levellers would, on the other hand, give a most welcome to a governor who believed that hard work, industry, conformity to the law and freedom to worship their own God in their own way held equal weight to power and status. I'm Michael Beashall, Australian historical fiction writer. Governor Brisbane was to all intents and purposes to prove neither to significantly help nor to hinder either of these two influential groups. Now, connections are important, especially when they springboard ambitious people to positions 3 or 4 times higher than they would have normally aspired or attained. Now, born in 1773 and educated in Edinburgh, Brisbane had a passion for astronomy and mathematics. Like many during the Peninsular Wars against Napoleon from roughly 1792 to 1815, Brisbane joined the army and caught the eye of, guess who, Arthur Wellesley, the future Duke of Wellington. And like connections with important people, a particular time in history is also a fortunate lift-up. We talked about the demobbing from the army and its resultant accelerated shrinkage in numbers. Brisbane was in a similar pickle, as promotion during wartime, as a rule, is a lot faster than during peacetime. So in a little chat with Arthur Wellesley at the time, Brisbane made it clear that he was at the government's pleasure to serve whenever he was needed. Now, Wellesley knew his politics and understood the turmoil that New South Wales was going through. Wellesley was impressed and wrote to Goulburn, Secretary of State for Colonies, to recommend Brisbane as the next colony's governor. His future was set up and it was up to Brisbane now. Now, in summary, we probably had 3 important players who impacted on Governor Brisbane's term. Samuel Marsden, a political and influential member of the cloth, John Macarthur, we all know, and William Charles Wentworth. It was Brisbane's difficulties and issues with these 3 men, and more importantly the groups they represented, that took a toll on his governorship. Brisbane supported various people and his judgment at times was askew, leading him to be easily manipulated by these 3 men. Brisbane often used as a basis for his moral code the heavens above, the celestial orbits, especially as they interrelated with his religious beliefs, a man of the stars. Lord Bathurst, who was Secretary of State for Colonies in London, as a result of the report from Commissioner Bigg, yes, our old friend again, into the development of the colony under Macquarie, he instructed Brisbane to sort out these convicts who were recalcitrant and place those particular ones in the bush and assign them to settlers. This was to prove both a boon and a curse with mixed results. On another note, during Brisbane's tenure, the explorers Hume and Sturt sought to find out what lay south and southwest of Sydney. We shall talk about those in future videos. Perhaps one of the most important things of Brisbane's legacy was that he significantly influenced Bathurst to treat New South Wales no longer as a penal settlement, but a real English colony with a free press. Brisbane left the colony in December 1825, but there was still very much undercurrents by John Macarthur in London and others to ensure that the colonial aristocracy, of which he was a fair member, and which they represented, should still be maintained, and that Brisbane's successor should be a suitably qualified governor to be sympathetic to such an order in the colony. In the next video, we'll look at William Charles Wentworth and his influence on the colony of New South Wales in this captivating early colonial period. See you again then.